Okay, now we are going to talk about how to do, sorry, let's get this thing going. There you go. Now we are going to talk about how to do fatigue analysis of a shaft. Steps, joints and regions of high bending moment need tender loving care. So notice those are the three places that we're requiring. So what are the places? Steps, joints and places where there is high bending moment. So those are the three places you should look at. You should be familiar with strength, designing for strength. This is module 2 from my playlist on design of machine elements. So you should be familiar with it. If you're not, then you cannot really understand this. And also you should be familiar with the first videos on strength. Not so much, but a little bit. Okay, so what's our task here? The task is to find out, given the cyclic load on a part, will it last the number of cycles n that I want? And what is the factor of safety? This is our task. This is the big picture. This is what I want to know. Fatigue analysis has many steps. This is somewhat complicated. I will introduce the plan in part 1. I will take you through the individual steps in part 2. And then we will do an example problem in part 3. So there's a lot of parts, so we will do one at a time. Part 1 is what I'm going to talk about now, just the plan. So starting point is brute force empiricism. The core of conventional fatigue testing is brute force gathering of data. So we gather a lot of data by taking a highly polished sample of a material, and that is called the R.R. Moore test specimen. Don't ask why the dimensions are like that. That is the standard. Okay. Put it in a rotating machine with a known pure bending load causing a known bending stress. So there's the rotation machine. You can see there's the load on this, and it will spin and spin until it fails. You'll see it fails abruptly and you'll get a sudden fracture. So you spin it and fails. This is the R.R. Moore testing specimen. Spin it until failure. So it's as simple as that. Nowadays, people also use push pull and types like that, but typically this is what is done. And then you find out how many cycles to failure you had. This is the basic setup. Go on testing. Okay. So now apply a different stress, repeat this, and you will get what is called a SN diagram. So typically, this is what it looks like. I will get a SN curve. If you want to know how many cycles you have to take, you can say, okay, if I want to take 10,000 cycles, I have to apply. So, but our actual specimen does not look like the R.R. Moore test, nor is it subject to the same stresses. My actual test specimen looks like this. R.R. Moore test looks like that. They're not the same. So what am I going to do? The reason for a non-ideality is because my load may be different. The parts may have notches or steps. The part has different surface than test specimen, may be bigger size than the test specimen. It may be operated at a different temperature than most. Our overall strategy is compute the normal stress in the actual component using strength of materials, 32 m over pi d cubed, and adjust the stress so as to find what would be the R.R. Moore test which has the same life. So we now look into the details. This is what we are going to do. Locate the section where you want to evaluate the fatigue life. So I have a shaft. I know how to do this part. We have done this. Then cut the shaft at that section. Draw a free body diagram and find the moment vector. We have done this before. There you go. Mx, My, Mz. Find the total torque and the total bending moment so that we know My squared plus Mz squared. Find the alternating nominal stress. Adjust the stress for notch effect. So Kf times whatever alternating bending stress you want. The reason for Kf is that the actual stress at any step in the shaft is higher than what you get from the strength of materials. But for ductile materials, the step will become blunted by local plastic flow. So it will be lower than what you get for elastic FEM. So you do one of these things, you can see the actual stress is high, but you have to adjust for ductile materials. Kf contains all this information. The second thing you have to adjust for is surface difference from RR mode. Surface difference goes in the denominator, C surf. We need this because the RR Moore specimen is polished with very few scratches, but your component may be milled or turned or ground with many scratches. You have to adjust the specimen for size variation from the RR Moore test. So that is called C size. We need it because the RR Moore specimen has fixed standard size. If your component is not comparable in size, then the volume of material under high stress will be different. For a bigger specimen, there is greater chance of a defect in the high stress region. So life is shorter. So we have to adjust the stress for temperature difference from the RR Moore specimen. So I compute the stress, multiply it by this factor and divide by the other factors so that I can get the expected life of the component. Comparing S alt with Sn for the RR Moore test to have the required life n. So S alt is this. So notice the three factors in the denominator and the one factor in the numerator. Kf is the fatigue stress concentration factor. And then you take look at this. You look at S alt and then you draw this line and then you find out Sn. Oh, so the factor of safety is whatever stress I computed by the Sn. So I went through this kind of fast, but we will see how this goes. For combined stresses, we have to do this adjustment for each component of the fluctuating stress and combine it into one equivalent value to use as the RR Moore stress, S alt. The planning is done. Super sweet. Now to implementation, and that requires huge issues. Okay, now test your understanding. What are the conditions under which the RR Moore test is conducted? Describe in your own words the reasons why the actual specimen will not have the same life as the RR Moore specimen. Describe the 5 steps and the sub-steps for calculating the equivalent stress. Describe in your own words why Kf, C surf, C size and C temp are needed. So explain why they are needed. If you can do all of this, you understood this part. I went over this kind of fast because there is nothing other than description here. We will dive into the details as we go along, but just read through this so that you understand what are the steps involved. Okay, and get the core idea that we take an actual specimen, we convert the stress in the actual specimen to equivalent stress so that we can use the RR Moore test data. This is not exactly how Shigley does it, but this is how it will make sense. Shigley does it in a slightly different way. Please take a look at how they do it and compare it with what I have spoken. Thank you.